Hey guys, welcome back to Canon Cinema. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMX NJ Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today, I will be giving you guys my top 5 live-action Batman films. I'm not going to do a ranking of all of them because then we're going to get into some really hot topics, but I feel like I'm going to touch upon each of these and still be able to talk about the other films from other directors and other Batman. So I feel like I've picked good ones in good spots just so people won't get mad. And I will justify my selections as per usual. So coming in at number 5, it is a Batman film, even though there is another superhero in the title. And I am talking about Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I had to put a Batfleck film on this list because I do think that even though this is a very Superman heavy film, the parts with Batman, the parts with Bruce Wayne were absolutely ridiculous and straight out of the comics. Ben Affleck just walked right out of the comics. He looks exactly like Bruce Wayne. He felt a bit more seasoned as the character, which we haven't really seen before. I will get to Christian Bale eventually. The second he steps out of that helicopter, as he's watching the destruction in front of him because of Superman and Zod, he felt like Bruce Wayne. And I've never had that feeling with any actors prior. Again, no offense to the actors that came before Batfleck, but for me, he just completely embodied the dad, pure dad Bruce Wayne. And I think that that's really important because we haven't really seen that. And he was going to give us that. Besides everything that happened, surrounding Batfleck and Zach, obviously representing my Snyder cut, but it just felt right. It felt like this was God tier casting. With the little screen time he had, he felt like Bruce Wayne to me. He walked into the room, he walked in at Lex's party, and he felt like Bruce Wayne. But as I always said, the director makes up the half of the Batman. And you have to have this perfect marriage. And I do think that Zack Snyder visually really understood Batman, and that thankfully Ben Affleck understood Bruce Wayne. And that's why there was that beautiful connection between the two of them. So I think that as a perfect marriage of sorts, he has the perfect Batman, in my honest opinion. I haven't seen Matt Reeves' Batman. I haven't seen Robert Pattinson's, but I do think that that will be a close second for me because, again, the visuals plus the characterization, that's what blends it together. And just like a firm understanding of the detective aspect, this is a very strong display of who Bruce Wayne is and who Batman is. And that's why Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the extended edition, is number 5 on my list. Coming in at number 4, this is going to shock all of you, and that's perfectly fine. But I think that Joel Schumacher worked his little magic in Gotham, and I loved his style. And I am talking about Batman Forever, which is just so overhated for no reason. And I personally think, back to the whole tandem aspect, even though Schumacher didn't visually understand Batman, but he made it a bit more like light and fun and kid-friendly with some dark undertones, and I appreciated that. I think that Val Kilmer was a great Bruce Wayne. And at first, you see that he's a bit blonde, he doesn't have like the dark features, but honestly, it was more of like a misuse of the actor for this character than a miscast for Bruce Wayne. I really, really enjoyed his portrayal of Bruce Wayne. I wish we could have gotten a bit more from him, but it was just so fun and he's so good to watch. You have like all-star cast. You have Nicole Kidman looking like the bombshell that she is, and then you have like icons as the villains, as like his rogue gallery. You have the Riddler with Jim Carrey, and you have Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, as Harvey Dent. Like, that is dream team right there. I don't care what anyone says. So I really enjoyed that. You have like the early aspects of Chris O'Donnell as Dick Grayson, and I really do think that he is a very strong Dick Grayson for the time period that this movie did come out in. I think they all work together perfectly. Again, it's a little bit lighter, it's fun, but of course, Jim Carrey steals the entire movie. He is fantastic as the Riddler. You needed someone like him playing Enigma, and I think that he really embodied every aspect of this character. Again, a bit more fun, a bit on the crazier side. Not as menacing, but it's more psychological than anything, and I love the humor in this one as well. So Batman Forever is overhated, and it is a top-tier Batman film. We don't talk about Batman and Robin, and that's fine, but Batman Forever is just so much fun, and I really did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. Coming in at number 3, I have Tim Burton's Batman 89, the one that started it all for the live action. I know that Adam West was on the television show. I know that there was another movie, Batman the movie with Adam West, but this one was just a different comic book movie feel. We got Michael Keaton. Everyone kind of trashed him at the beginning, saying he's not a serious actor. He can't do Batman. And they were worried about it because you're translating it to the big screen and it's not the same type of humor. It's not the same type of action as the original Batman television series. So I completely understand why people were apprehensive going into this, especially Tim Burton that has such a distinct style and he really understood Gotham. And I think that that's what's the most important in this aspect. You have such dark notes that comes with Tim Burton's aesthetic and he just made it look very, very eerie and dark and gloomy and brooding. Like he nailed that part of it. And he did understand Batman up to a certain point. Michael Keaton is not my favorite Bruce Wayne. He didn't give me that feel of it. Again, like it has to be very like in your face, like walking right out of the comic books. And like that to me will always be Batfleck. And Val Kilmer is a close second. I know, crazy. It's crazy. But hear me out. Michael Keaton came on the scene and kind of brought the comic book movies back. You had Superman and Christopher Reeves, and then you had like smaller ones that didn't really get the attention. But then this one, Tim Burton, Batman, 89, you have Michael Keaton, you have Kim Basinger, and then you have Uncle Jack Nicholson as the Joker, the first one to win an Oscar for that role. And he was glorious. He was perfectly over the top. He wasn't overacting as the Joker, but it's that smile, it's the demeanor, it's all of that. And he brought that. So you have perfect balance between Bruce Wayne and the Joker. And they're kind of like first time out again, like reinventing the comic book film and Batman at the same time. So I really liked 89. For me, it's always like the villains make up the Batman films. And that goes into my second spot, which is Batman Returns. I know I put it above 89, but it deserves to be there. I really do think that Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman was a knockout. This also doubles as a Christmas movie, a holiday movie as we see that. But Michelle Pfeiffer as Selena frickin' Kyle. Michelle Pfeiffer did her job. You also have Danny DeVito as the Penguin, who again is like god tier casting. Christopher Walken's in this. Okay, like this cast is also stacked. All of them work together quite well. It is a solid second film. It's a solid sequel considering what they did in the first one. And this one is just slightly better because of Michelle Pfeiffer, because of Danny DeVito. So that's why it's number 2 on my list. Tim Burton understands Gotham and like it makes sense as a pairing in the early 90s that he would take on a Batman film. And there's just so much that you can deconstruct with this character and, you know, rework and reimagine. And I think that Tim Burton really did that extremely well, especially as like one of the first Batman films. It's really strong. And that's why it's number 2. I'm so nervous for this one because, you know, I had to leave this at number 1. It's still going to be number 1. I don't know if the Batman's going to edge this out, but number 1 spot, I have The Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan. I apologize that Batman Begins or The Dark Knight Rises are off of this list, but those 3 are just not my cup of tea for reasons, and I'm going to get into it with the Nolan trilogy. The only reason that The Dark Knight works is because of Heath Ledger's Joker. And you can't really say otherwise because everyone and their mother remembers The Dark Knight. They remember how big the Joker was. They remember Heath Ledger's performance. It is burned into our minds. I don't watch The Dark Knight and be like, I can't wait to go see Christian Bale's Batman. No one says it. Part of the reason why I don't like Batman Begins is because, yes, I understand it's an origin story. I completely get it. It is a very good origin story for Bruce Wayne. I understand. But Ra's al Ghul and Scarecrow don't really do much for me in that first one. And the Batman villains are what elevate Batman and Bruce Wayne in the Nolan trilogy. So without them having, enough screen time, enough of their characters to really shine through, Batman Begins falters. And then The Dark Knight Rises also falters because they do the exact same thing. It's just not strong enough. The pacing's off with those two particular films. The runtime is just it feels so long. I almost never revisit Batman Begins. I never revisit The Dark Knight Rises. The one movie that I watch from time to time that still holds up to today is The Dark Knight. But here's the thing. We've had different iterations of Batman over the years. And like I said, from number 5 to number 1, the thing that I look for is how well the director and the actor bring forth Batman and Bruce Wayne. For me, Christopher Nolan did not understand Batman because he took the bones of the character of the vigilante. Okay, he took the bones of that and then he made it a Nolan film. So as a comic book film, after everything that we've watched with the MCU, the DCU, everything that we've watched, it doesn't really hold up as a superhero film. As a comic book film, it does not hold up. However, it holds up as a Nolan film, and that's okay. Because when The Dark Knight came out and we got Tim Burton's Batman, we got Joel Schumacher's Batman, we got all of that, okay? We got those versions, right? And it was very by the book of what the television show did, of what the comics did in order to translate it. So at the time The Dark Knight came out, what Nolan did in taking it and making it his, it was big, it was huge. It was huge at the time. But watching it back now, it's like, does it actually feel like Batman? Does it feel like Bruce Wayne? For me, it doesn't. There are amazing moments. There are great fight scenes. Don't get me wrong, but a few small moments don't make up for a great film. And I think that I'm going to get so much slack for this, but it is the truth that it does not hold up. The entire trilogy does not hold up because it's a Nolan trilogy instead of a Batman trilogy. And that's where the divide happens. I don't think that Christian Bale was a strong enough choice for Bruce Wayne. I didn't get the vibe from him that he was Bruce Wayne. Again, certain people are going to say he is my Bruce Wayne. Just because you grew up with him doesn't mean that he has to be your Bruce Wayne. That goes with like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Of course, he's always going to be my Spider-Man. But I can honestly say that Tom Holland embodied both sides of it. He embodied Peter Parker and he embodied Spidey, and he did it perfectly. And that's why he is the best version of the character. And I can openly say that while still saying that Tobey Maguire will forever be my Spider-Man. And I love Andrew Garfield, but we're not talking about Spidey right now. It's the same thing with Batman. Whoever grew up with Michael Keaton, they're gonna freaking defend him like no tomorrow. They're not even gonna acknowledge Val Kilmer. They're not gonna acknowledge George Clooney. The tandem of Bruce Wayne and Batman just did not stick. When that doesn't stick, it doesn't hold up for me. And the only reason The Dark Knight is memorable is because of Heath Ledger's Joker. So that is my list. That is all I have to say about the Batman films. I think I touched upon all of them in a way that I have fully explained myself as to which versions I do enjoy. Let me know if you guys agree with my top 5. Let me know if you think that Batman and Robin should have been on this list. Let me know if I should have put Batman Begins on this list. But this is my 5. These are the ones that really show Bruce Wayne and really show Batman as a character. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video and you don't hate me too much, you can like and subscribe. You can always follow me over at AMX NJ Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.